Candlemas Day. You might be expecting the fourth Sunday of Ordinary Time. There are times in the Church's calendar in which a feast, such as today, the presentation of Jesus in the temple, precedes or replaces ordinary time. This is a little extraordinary time. So there is no fourth Sunday this year. There was last year and there will be next year. But when the 2nd of February is on a Sunday, as it is today, it becomes special. So there is a lot going on in today's readings, and I'd love to have more time, but I don't want to bore you. It's a lot about the completion of the law. I'm going to say something strange, but a few weeks ago in Matthew's Gospel, we had the Magi coming. And in a way, in Matthew's Gospel, announcing the coming of something new, something different. In today's Gospel, there's a bit of epiphany. Now, to understand what's going on, and I don't recommend it, but it's there. In the 12th chapter of Leviticus, Leviticus is much about liturgy, or especially purification, and laws, and it's all about what Moses did for this and for that, all the practica in a person's life, one of which is birth. And in the 12th chapter, that's in the 5th chapter, a little bit about sacrificing doves and pigeons and things. It's very, very precise. But in the 12th chapter, it's about birth. And it says, when a male is born, or as it says, opens the womb, it is 7 days until a circumcision, and then 33 days of purification of the mother of the child. And maybe some of you have read the Red Tent about a purification during birth. So 7 and 33 is 40. Oh, 40 days. So today is 40 days since Christmas, right? And the 2nd of February is always 40 days. So it's the Mass celebrating that part of the ritual of giving birth has taken place. One sidelight, in the Hebrew Scriptures, blood was a source of God's life. It was how God gave life. And when blood is, say, in the birth process, blood becomes impure by being spilled, not in an unsacred way, and birth is sacred, but blood itself has to be purified, which is about the Red Tent. So now the 33 days have been completed. Now, very interesting, and I'm not going to make any comment, but if the child is a girl, the law says 66 days. I don't know why, but you can read it. And so Leviticus is very particular. So anyway, Jesus and Mary and Joseph are fulfilling the law. He has been circumcised. She has been purified. They come to the temple to do the ritual sacrifice of something. He is completing and living the law from the very beginning as a Jewish man, male. And Joseph and Mary are completing the law because they are strict adherents to the law, strict Jewish faithful. Okay, so far so good. Now, they have, and you will read it in your parish, there might be a great procession, but we're of lights and candles, and we'll get to that. But today's gospel is the long form or the short form. Joseph and Mary, carrying the child, meet Simeon, a very faithful, long-awaiting servant of God. And also in the long form, Anna, also a faithful woman. And they declare in their words, but especially Simeon, now I can be dismissed. I have waited all these years. My eyes have seen. And this child will be a light for the Gentiles, a light for the Gentiles, and for the glory of his people Israel. So he's fulfilling not only the law, but the prophets. We have waited for the Messiah, the healer, the Redeemer. And as a Jewish holy person, and this is what I mean, this is the Epiphany, where Jesus appears now to the Jewish faithful. And he's saying, this child will be a light to the nations, the Gentiles, the non-Jewish. So he is for us, and he is for all of us. A Jewish man declares that. Anna declares it. And then, in completing the gospel, Mary and Joseph and Jesus go down as faithful Jews to Nazareth, preparing him to be a light to the nations. That light is why today is also called Candlemas. It's the presentation of Jesus, who is the light to these two Jewish people, who will be a light to the Jews and to the light to all in the world. He is the new sunshine, if you will. And so we have in some churches, everyone will proceed with candles. And in one of the forms, you could do it outside or in another chapel or another church, and then process in the world, carrying the light into the church, and hear these great readings about Jesus as gift to the Jews and a gift from the Jews to the Gentiles. Huge change and difficult. The glory of his people, Israel, that Jesus is a gift to the Jews to be given to the Gentiles. That's a very difficult thing in Christian-Jewish conversations. But the glory of the people, Israel, is that the light has come to Israel, but not just for Israel. Okay, that's a lot of scripture. And it's not complicated. But it is a festival. That's why we're wearing white, not green, for ordinary time. And what I was imagining is all the people entering a dark church or church with all these candles, holding the light of Christ. But, and this is the Eucharistic change, that the candles may be taken home and may be put in a place of prominence as reminding that Jesus is the light of all the world. But the light received in the Eucharist, the light that tells me who I am a light for you. And you are a light for us. And we walk out not holding the candles outside us, but receiving the light of Christ within us from the Word and the Eucharist to be the light of the world and the glory of Israel, sharing the light once given to Israel, to a faithful Jewish family, to a faithful Jewish young human male, Jesus, who grew in wisdom and strength, living the law. But he was not to keep his light to himself, and neither are we. We become, if we can receive it, if we can receive the Eucharist, can we receive the light that is not just for me, not just for my understanding, but for my heart and soul, that I want to distribute his light to all, whomever, not discreetly, but through smiles, instruction, encouragement, correction, teaching, helping, medicine, law. What I do is within me to do. The light that is given to me is not mine. It's ours.